Hello, fellow traders. 'Tis I, TheRumpledOne, coming to you on Thursday, July the 1st. The year's 2021. Let's talk trading. The battles versus the war, part 4 with Walmal. And just remember, these videos for educational purposes only. Your results may differ from mine and from Walmal. So Walmal, we're going to let you pick up from Monday, because you started this off, about the battles versus the war. And yesterday I talked about the battle between your ears. Basically fear, greed, and regret. What are your thoughts?
Oh yeah, that's probably one of the biggest battles that you have is that that crazy stuff that happens between your two ears. You're exactly right. I mean, there are so many times I've been in a trade, fearful for this, fearful for that. What if this? What if that? Or on the other side of the coin, fearful to even enter a trade, fearful to, what if this happens? What if that happens? Good grief, we can go and play so many head games against ourselves and cause itself so much difficulty, and that's a real phenomenon. It's a real thing that we have to go and deal with sometimes. And, and I say this very, very often to, privately to other traders and such, and that is that you got to get that fear stuff, you got to take care of that, because until you take care of that, man, you're fighting uphill. It's sort of like, you're in a battle and you're literally trying to go and take over a hill. The guy up on the top of the hill, he's got a clear advantage over you when you're trying to do that. And so you need to be very, very careful of that, and how am I going to go and approach that? And it's not unsurmountable. We hear that number all the time, 99.5 or whatever the number is of all traders fail. Well, I don't know if that's true or not. It probably is, but I don't know if that's true or not. But here's the thing. If you can get over that fear thing, if you can get over, that entire mentality, and you can go and execute your plan, and if you've shown that your plan statistically makes sense, well, guess what? You can be that 0.5, and that's what our goal is. Our goal is to be that 0.5. We went through a period here, we're talking about the 1%ers. We want to be the 0.5%ers, I guess, and just win that little battle.
Yeah. Hey, now, I'm going to bust you, Walmal. Do you remember what you texted to me yesterday?
I don't. Oh, yeah. I said something along the lines of, I am pissed.
Yeah.
Direct quote.
Yeah, he says, now I'm pissed. Tell the boys and girls and non-binary traders why you did that.
Well,
why you said that.
What happened was I got into a trade, and the trade went against me, and it went against me. It's just that simple. It went against me. And what happened was I averaged in on the trade, and I got myself into a pretty good position. And unfortunately, here's the reason. I'll tell you the reason why I got out of trade. I had some personal things that I had to go and deal with, and I wasn't going to leave the trade open, and it was sort of like, okay, I'm just going to get out. And I think I took a 5 pip loss on the combination of, I think there was actually three trades in that one deal where I'd average in. And, the first one went against me. The second one, I was basically break even. And the third trade I was in, I was up, some pips, but overall I was down 5 pips. Now for the day I was up, pretty handsomely. And I was like, with that pressure of having to go and do what I'm going to do, I just said, you know what? I said, TRO, I'm just closing the trade out. I'm down 5 pips. It's not the end of the world. It doesn't affect what my core is for the day, but I got to go and take care of this, whatever was going on in my life. And then I went and got out, and I happened to look back at the charts, 10 minutes later. And if I just waited 10 minutes, I would have actually gotten out of all 3 of my trades with a nice little profit. And the thing is, I was pissed at the time, because instead of taking a 5 pip loss, I could have actually probably, between all those deals, I probably could have, walked out with maybe a 10 pip win. And it really ticked me off. But and that's what I'm talking about, this battle between your ears, though, and that is that you can't let that affect. At that moment in time, I was pissed, and you just have to go and say, you know what, if I was still trading that day, I hope and pray that what I would have done is that I'm pissed right now. I'm walking away from the computer to settle down. Okay, I took a little bit of a loss in that battle. That's okay. Take that little loss, walk away, get your head back into the game before you go and take another trade. Because otherwise, I'm guilty of this, and I know a lot of you other traders out there are guilty of this too. I would have jumped in on some type of revenge trade. And when I would have jumped in on that revenge trade, I wouldn't have been thinking straight. I just would have been, making up those pips that I missed out on. And that's just not good, because now I'm going to start inventing trades. I'm going to be looking for things that really aren't there, or seeing things that really aren't there. And now you're getting yourself into a world of trouble, and you just don't want to be there for that.
Yeah, that's right.
It's funny because we're talking about what's between your ears, and it's absolutely so true, and there's another component of this, and that is that sometimes I think we as traders, we get so glued in on listening to what other folks say, and the next thing you know, that starts affecting the way we trade too, and this is probably one of the biggest milestones that I had to get over. I took what you were teaching, TRO, and I am so thankful for that. But what I needed to do was to take that, okay, and make it my own. And I know I've said that in the past, probably not in a long, long time, but I think it's so true. I had to go and take, the things that you've observed, and I had to look at the charts, and I had to go and see on those charts, go back in time, watch, look, if you're going to be a rat zone trader, look back and see, is what he's saying true? And, and yeah, it is. If you're going to be a wick zone trader, is what he's saying true? Yeah. Okay, if you're going to go and be a buy zone trader, is what he's saying true? Yeah. Okay, so now you got some intimacy there with that, and you see that you got some familiarity, you got some intimacy, you see that it's true. But now what you got to do is you got to sit down and you got to go and do an analysis of yourself, okay? And you need to start thinking about, okay, how do I trade? What is my personality like? What can I do to go and take advantage of what, TRO has observed and given to us, so graciously, and now take it and figure out a way to make money off of it for ourselves. And, I think sometimes what we'll do is, we get into forums, we get into groups, and, and that can be very, very helpful. And certainly for me, anyway, the biggest help with all that is accountability. I know, TRO, you keep me very accountable, and I'm so appreciative of that. But at the same time, at the same time, we can get ourselves into trouble, because next thing you know, we decide, okay, we're going to go and do a buy zone. That's how we're going to go and do it. And next thing you know, we're listening to this guy over here, that guy over there, and this guy under the carpet, and that can't work, this can't work, and we start blowing up our confidence in things, and or people start coming up with crazy ideas of how to refine things to go and get the extra 1 point, and next thing you know, what would have been profitable turns into a losing battle.
Yeah, I think you touched on something there, about the refining, and I had read something the other day, and I paraphrased it. I can't remember exactly what they were talking about, but I said, there's a syndrome, the indicator acquisition syndrome, and somebody out there in the internet world, they thought that was pretty funny. But it's like, okay, so, you're losing, so it must, some other indicator is going to fix that. So let's add another indicator. And then it's like, well, let's add another indicator, or let's change systems. And to me, it's almost like water. As a prepper, whenever I talk about water, I say, if you've got water that's not drinkable, water in its purest form is H2O. So what you need to do is remove the contaminants, not add anything to the water. And sometimes you see people, it's like they have this funny look on their face like, yeah, he's right. It's so simple. But, meanwhile, some people want to put Clorox, and some people want to put iodine, and some people want to put some other, thing in it. And it's like, it's real simple. What you do is you filter the water, you boil it, and then you let it cool. And then if you want to, you can filter it again, and then you can drink it.
Yeah,
You know.
that's exactly right. Now I'm not saying you know me pretty well, and I do go and look at other things. But it doesn't affect my core way of trading. I may look at things and say, hey, does that make sense to go and do that? And what I'll do is I'll still go and trade the way I've always traded, make my money, and then on an account that's, that maybe, even a demo account, but more likely an account where I'm just trading a very, very small lot size and try some of those things out before I incorporate stuff in. But I'm not going to go and change what's my bread and butter. You can't change your bread and butter. You still got to feed yourself. And so if you got something that you know is working, why are we constantly looking for that next great thing? Well, I think that's part of human nature. We're just built that way, to be always inquisitive and looking. I think there's nothing wrong with that because we do become better traders.
Yeah, but you know something, Walmal?
We're out of time.
I don't think many traders have the bread and butter. They're still trying to get the bread and butter. Maybe we'll have to do a series, bread and butter trading or something.
Yeah, but the thing is, we know statistically that these trades that we talk about here, we know that they work. Statistically, they work. And getting back to what I said earlier in this video, and it's important to go and say it a second time, you need to go and take what we know statistically works and figure out a way that it works for you. Because the way you trade it and the way I trade it, you and I trade very, very similarly, or the same type of method, but we trade it differently. And that's okay because you're different than I am. And we just have to go and do that and just figure out what works. I mean, there are how many times I jump into a trade and you go and say, why? Well, it's just because or a better one is like yesterday, you said, did you go short there? And I said, no. And you said, why not? I said, it's not my trade,
Yeah. Well, the thing is, though, maybe we have to even analyze that a little bit more for the traders, because when you say you and I trade differently, it's like, well, wait a minute. If I'm trading the Walmal method and you're trading the Walmal method, we got the same trigger, so how exactly are we trading differently if we both take the same trade at the same place, pretty much at the same time?
Right. And the thing is, those are experiential things that just jump in and help you a little bit. And it's sort of like, I look at the chart and I just look left and I say, okay, it's one of those things where I say, this is just, it's run into a lot of problems here, this particular line. I'm just not going to take a trade. I'll wait another hour. I don't care. I don't have a problem waiting to go and make money. It's better to wait and make money than to go and to jump in and lose money. So I don't have a problem with doing that. And it's I think what those external factors into it is experiential things. Those are things that indicators really can't help you with. That's just pure seat time and learning to go and judge things and gauge things and just know that what we're doing. If you look at the 5-minute chart right now, okay, that ran down, and we talk about return bars on here all the time. If you go back a couple hours ago, we got a 5-minute return bar that's like 20-something pips.
Right, right.
And I took the trade, at the beginning of this hour to a short off of that 10. Okay, for a number of reasons. That's one of the reasons I took it was because off that 10. And what I just did about a minute ago, not even that, about 30 seconds ago, I jumped out of the trade. I'm up 23 pips on that one trade. Now, why did I get out? I got a return bar over there, and you say, and I know you say all the time that, those return bars get filled all the time. And they do get filled all the time. But here's the difference. I also know that when it hits the midpoint, a lot of times it will go and retrace all the way back up before it makes another run and takes it out.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm up a bunch of pips.
Guess what? The fastest 15 minutes in trading is up again. So, fellow traders, maybe Walmal and I will talk about some bread and butter trading or something next week. Because tomorrow we'll be doing the weekly wrap up. It's Friday, and then it's also NFP day tomorrow. So there's your heads up. NFP day tomorrow. So go back and look, rewatch some of the NFP trading videos if you like. And when you sit down at your trading platform always remember, never forget. It's not what you trade, it's how you trade it. So go out there and drain the banks. This is the Rumpled One, over and out.